For centuries, profound knowledge has been passed down through generations, revealing the mysteries of the universe and our place within it. Among these, the 7 Hermetic Principles hold a special place. Ancient laws believed to govern the entire universe and point the way to profound understanding. But what if these principles are not confined to esoteric treatises? What if, being self-evident, they are reflected in the teachings of one of history's most revered spiritual figures, Jesus of Nazareth? In this exploration, we will strive to move beyond conventional interpretations. We will examine Jesus' words not merely as moral precepts, but as reflections of universal laws, eternal truths that bridge the material and the spiritual. Is it possible that the wisdom of Hermeticism and the message of Christ are essentially one? We are about to unveil the 7 Hermetic Principles in light of Jesus' teachings. Hermeticism, a mystical tradition originating from the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, posits that the universe operates according to 7 fundamental principles, guiding forces that influence everything from the movement of stars to our very thoughts. These principles serve as a key to understanding the cosmos and our role as spiritual beings journeying through the physical world. For centuries, seekers of wisdom have turned to Hermeticism to grasp the mysteries of existence. And while Hermeticism may seem esoteric, its themes are remarkably recognizable. Almost 2,000 years ago, in a humble corner of the Roman Empire, a teacher emerged, a man who forever altered the spiritual landscape. Jesus of Nazareth spoke of divine love, the nature of the soul, and the inner workings of the kingdom of heaven. His words touched the hearts of multitudes, offering profound wisdom cloaked in parables and metaphors. At first glance, these two traditions might seem disparate, one originating from ancient Egypt and Greece, the other born in the heart of Judea. Yet, beneath their apparent differences lies a profound harmony. Both point to universal truths, principles that transcend time, culture, and religious dogma. Is it possible that Jesus, in his own way, expressed the very same eternal laws so cherished in Hermeticism? Will we find echoes of Hermetic wisdom within Christ's teachings? As we delve into the 7 Hermetic Principles, we will explore their reflections in Jesus' words and discover how these teachings converge on the path to higher understanding. The first of the 7 Hermetic Principles is mentalism, which states that the all is mind, the universe is mental. In other words, everything that exists originates from consciousness. The physical world, the forces that govern it, and even our thoughts, all are manifestations of a single, infinite mind. This principle suggests that reality is fundamentally shaped by perception, thought, and awareness. Yet, long before this principle was articulated, Jesus spoke of the power of the mind and heart. As it is written in Proverbs 23:7, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." Jesus reiterated this profound teaching repeatedly. Here we see the same concept. Our thoughts are not passive. They are creative forces that shape our reality. What we dwell on in our minds determines who we become and how we perceive the world. Jesus consistently urged his followers to transform their inner world, emphasizing that true change begins from within. His message was clear. The outer world is a reflection of our inner state. This resonates with the Hermetic idea that the universe is mental, created by thought, intention, and faith. When Jesus said, "If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." Matthew 17:20. He pointed to the power of faith, illustrating how a mind aligned with divine purpose can influence the material world. It is through focused thought and unwavering faith that we connect to the creative power of the universe. Thus, Jesus' teachings are not merely moral instructions, but the art of mastering the mind through faith. Through conscious intention, we unlock the true potential of our consciousness. As our thoughts are, so are we. The universe bows to the power of mind. Mentalism teaches us that mind is the root of all creation, and Jesus urges us to use this power wisely, directing our thoughts towards love, faith, and a higher purpose. What else lies hidden within Jesus' teachings? The second Hermetic principle, known as correspondence, states, "As above, so below, as below, so above." This principle reveals a profound interconnectedness of all things, showing that the microcosm reflects the macrocosm, and the spiritual reflects the physical. In other words, events in the heavens find their reflection on earth, and our inner experiences manifest in the outer world. Jesus Christ also spoke of this unbreakable connection. In the Gospel of Luke 17:21, he proclaimed, "The kingdom of God is within you." These words echo the Hermetic teaching, emphasizing that the divine is not distant or separate from us. It is present within each individual, and the universe itself serves as a reflection of our inner world. The kingdom of heaven is not merely a place beyond the stars, but a state of consciousness accessible through spiritual awareness. Just as the Hermetic principle asserts that higher realms reflect lower ones, Jesus calls us to look within ourselves to discover the sacred and eternal within our very being. The miracles performed by Jesus demonstrate the principle of correspondence in action. His ability to heal the sick, calm storms, and even raise the dead was not a violation of natural laws, but a harmonization with them. Jesus understood that the laws of the spiritual realm, faith, intention, and divine power, could be aligned with the physical world. As above, so below. This principle was reflected in every act of love and healing he performed. As Jesus taught, our inner state influences the world around us. Our thoughts, emotions, and spiritual condition shape the physical reality we experience. The divine blueprint of creation is embedded in every part of our being, and the principle of correspondence reminds us that we are both creators and reflections of the universe. This principle urges us to recognize that the outer world is a mirror of our inner state. Jesus calls us to cultivate the kingdom of heaven within ourselves, so that our outer life may come into harmony with the divine order. The third Hermetic principle, vibration, states, "Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates." At its core, this principle conveys that everything in the universe, from the smallest particles to the vastest stars, is in constant motion. Even seemingly solid objects vibrate at a molecular level. This rhythm of energy permeates all creation, forming the very fabric of reality. Jesus Christ also understood the power of vibration. While he did not use this terminology, his actions and words reflect a profound awareness of energetic movement. When Jesus calmed the storm, marked 4:39, he did not merely halt the physical winds and waves, he brought the underlying energy into harmony. "Quiet, be still," he commanded, and the chaotic vibrations of the storm subsided, replaced by perfect calm. His words carried a vibration capable of altering nature itself. Jesus' miracles were not just divine interventions, but demonstrations that everything vibrates at different frequencies. In healing the sick, Jesus elevated their vibrational state. He understood that sickness, pain, and suffering are manifestations of low vibrations. By infusing them with the high frequencies of love, compassion, and faith, he restored balance and health. In the Gospel of John 11:43, Jesus called Lazarus forth from the tomb, using the power of his voice, his words, to bring life back into a body that had ceased to move. "Lazarus, come out." These were not mere words, but vibrations infused with divine energy, capable of reversing the lowest vibration, death. The principle of vibration teaches us that our words, thoughts, and emotions are powerful forces carrying energy. Jesus demonstrated how faith, intention, and focused thought can alter the very fabric of reality. He taught his followers that faith could move mountains, showing that by tuning into the right frequency through faith, love, and divine purpose, we can influence the world around us. The universe is alive with vibrations, and Jesus calls us to attune ourselves to the high frequencies of love, peace, and faith. By doing so, we transform not only ourselves, but the world around us, becoming participants in the divine rhythm of creation. The fourth Hermetic principle, known as the principle of polarity, states, "Everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites." This postulate reveals that seemingly opposing forces are not isolated entities, but rather different gradations of a single whole. White and black, hot and cold, joy and sorrow, all are integral elements of a single continuum, existing only in relation to each other. The absence of one would deprive us of the ability to know the other. Jesus Christ, in his teachings, repeatedly addressed these opposites, revealing their deep spiritual meaning. His teachings were replete with paradoxes that reflected the unity hidden within duality. In the Gospel of Matthew 20:13, he declared, "So the last will be first, and the first will be last." This is not merely an instructive lesson, but an expression of the Hermetic principle of polarity. What appears to us as opposites, the last and the first, high and low, is part of a single divine cycle, constantly transforming and evolving. Throughout his ministry, Jesus taught that humility leads to greatness, life emerges from death, and strength is found in weakness. These assertions are not contradictions, but rather insights into the truth of polarity. Just as light cannot exist without shadow, greatness is inconceivable without the experience of humility. Jesus showed that embracing the extremes of life, both its highs and lows, leads to spiritual wholeness. In the Gospel of Luke 9:24, Jesus says, "For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for my sake will save it." This profound saying is another reflection of the principle of polarity. To truly live, one must embrace death, the death of the ego, the death of attachment to the material world. It is through this sacrifice that we gain true life, eternal and unwavering. The Hermetic principle of polarity reminds us that every experience, whether joyful or painful, carries its opposite within it. It is by embracing both ends of the spectrum that we find balance and transcend the illusion of separation. Jesus urged his followers to see beyond superficial duality and to recognize the unity underlying it. Ultimately, the opposites we encounter in life are not in conflict, but in harmony, constantly flowing into one another as part of the divine plan. Jesus teaches that to grasp the fullness of life, one must embrace both joy and suffering, strength and weakness, and in doing so we rise above the polarities that seem to divide us. The fifth Hermetic principle, the principle of rhythm, states that the ebb and flow of tides, the rising and setting of the sun, and the changing of seasons occur in perfect harmony within the natural world. Rhythm is a constant that teaches us everything flows and changes, and that cycles are an inherent part of existence. Jesus also addressed these rhythms in his teachings. He often spoke of divine timing for all things. To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Like the inevitable cycles of nature, Jesus recognized the rhythms of life and death, sowing and reaping. He understood that life itself is a continuous movement, governed by divine timing. His miracles also reflected this flow. Whether calming a storm or bringing life back, Jesus connected with the natural rhythms of the universe. He understood the importance of moving in harmony with the cycles established by the Creator. Jesus taught that just as life moves in cycles, we also experience ups and downs. But deep within every challenge lies the promise of an uplift. His words resonate with this universal truth. Weeping may stay for the night, but rejoicing comes in the morning. Psalm 30. The principle of rhythm reminds us of the need to trust divine timing for all things, understanding that every moment, every season, every rhythm is part of a larger sacred cycle. Just as night follows day, healing follows hardship, and growth follows loss. The sixth Hermetic principle, the law of cause and effect, states that there is no randomness in the universe. Every action generates a response. Every event has its roots. This undeniable truth teaches us responsibility for our actions. For every seed we sow will inevitably yield its fruit, whether good or ill. Jesus Christ affirmed this eternal wisdom, stating, "Whatever a man sows, that he will also reap." Galatians 6:7. His teachings consistently pointed to the universal law of consequences. He understood that our actions, words, and even thoughts ripple outward, affecting not only our own lives, but the world around us. Through parables, such as the parable of the sower, Jesus emphasized the importance of intentions and actions. The seeds we sow, whether seeds of kindness, love, or selfishness, will eventually bear fruit. Just as the soil determines the fate of a seed, so do our hearts shape the outcomes of our actions. In every miracle Jesus performed, this principle was evident. His healing touch was not merely physical, it was spiritual, sowing seeds of faith, hope, and forgiveness. The results of these sowings transformed not only the healed individuals, but their entire surroundings. Every thought, every word, every action sets in motion a chain of events, often extending beyond our comprehension. Jesus taught that our choices have both immediate and eternal consequences, shaping not only our lives, but the spiritual fabric of the world. The law of cause and effect reminds us to act consciously, understanding that the seeds we plant today, whether seeds of kindness or indifference, will inevitably bear fruit tomorrow. For, with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. Luke chapter 6:38. Following Jesus' example, we recognize that even the smallest act of kindness has the power to change the world. Cause and effect is not merely a law of nature, but a divine principle guiding our spiritual development, urging us to live meaningfully and purposefully. The seventh Hermetic principle, the principle of gender, states that the universe exists through a delicate balance of masculine and feminine energies. This principle teaches us that everything in creation embodies both these energies, each playing a vital role in processes of creation and renewal. In Jesus' teachings, we observe a deep understanding and reverence for both masculine and feminine qualities. He honored them not as opposites, but as complementary forces working in harmony. Jesus' interactions with women, such as his profound respect for Mary Magdalene, reflect this fundamental balance of energies. Mary Magdalene was not merely a follower, but an integral part of his spiritual mission. In an era where women were often marginalized, Jesus elevated them, acknowledging their divine role in the fulfillment of God's design. In Mary Magdalene, we see the embodiment of feminine energy, intuition, compassion, and wisdom. Just as the sun gives life and the moon illuminates the night, both masculine and feminine energies are essential for balance and creation. Jesus understood this sacred dance, embodying both strength and tenderness, justice and mercy. His firmness in confronting corruption in the temple and his tenderness in healing the afflicted were not contradictory but in perfect harmony, reflecting the unity of these divine principles. The Hermetic principle of gender reminds us that creation itself arises from the interplay of masculine and feminine forces. Jesus' teachings point to a divine balance that transcends gender distinctions, urging us to embrace the wholeness of our nature. Looking to the heavens, we see this balance reflected in all that exists. In the spiritual journey, we are called to recognize both energies within ourselves, to embody the strength of the divine masculine and the nurturing wisdom of the divine feminine. Jesus showed us that the path to divine wisdom and creation lies through the unity of these energies. The principle of gender is not about separation, but about unity, about coming together in perfect harmony to reflect the fullness of the Creator's design. In studying the ancient Hermetic postulates, their striking resonance with the teachings of Jesus Christ becomes evident. Despite the temporal distance and differing traditions, the wisdom encapsulated in Hermeticism and the Christian message demonstrate an astonishing similarity, pointing to a deeper understanding of the universe and humanity's role within it. As we reflect on these enduring truths, each individual faces a call to apply them practically in their own life. Are we able to embrace the rhythms and changing cycles, trusting in divine providence? Are we ready to sow seeds of love and enlightenment, realizing that what is given will return manifold? And can we embody the harmony of masculine and feminine principles, creating balance within ourselves and in the world around us?